MILF.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Tuesday. I want to play PowerWash Sim, so we're playing PowerWash Sim, and no one can tell me otherwise. I got 160k feathers, what do I do with them? Hoard them? Try to convince Minty to rig the market again? 16 ad redeems? 16 ad redeems. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks for the idea, every single rat. Okay. It's fine. It is PowerWash Sim day. I thought about it and I was like, I could play other things. But also, the beginning of this week has been a wild time and I wish to play PowerWash Simulator to wash away the stress of the beginning of the week and try to have a positive mindset going into the rest of it. So we're doing PowerWash Sim. I'm not even gonna wait. PowerWash Sim. I hope that all the rats are having a good time zone so far. I hope that you guys' weeks are slightly less stressful than mine have been. It's not even that, like, anything in particular is happening. It's just been, like, ambient stress. I could also do 60 pet the and redeems now that I math about it. Okay. I mean, you can. I can't power wash this cat. I can pet it. Okay. Ah!
Wow, that's like 2 people.
That's too many. You've been here for like 2 weeks. Billboard? It appears both of us are going to end up in the world. I've become the new mayor of Caldera County in its entirety. Well, you are to watch my flagship billboard 30 feet above the interstate due south of Lubri. Okay. Sure. Start. 2 people, 18 months, 2 babies, 2 pregnancies. Radial man? Oh. Oh. Okay. Nope. Just 2 babies. They could have put us at 169. They hate me. Okay, so we need to, it's fine. Can I? Hold on. How strong am I? Hey, what the fuck? Oh. Oh. Ah. Oh my god. This is amazing. Oh. Well. It was great to start. Unfortunately, I am silly. Wait, can I just... Oh, no. Okay. Can I... No. I thought I'd be able to get... Oh, there's just a ladder. Never mind. Hold on. Hold on. No, not a ladder? Yes, a ladder. I just don't know how to walk, apparently. That's fun. Anyways, hi everybody. Now that we've learned how to walk... Well, I say we. It's really just me. I've learned how to walk again. Specifically in the video game. Walking at ladders in real life will not do anything for me. It's fine. Boyd, what fumes do you have? Is such an interesting question. I know we've had our run-ins in the past, but I think we let water pass under the bridge, or in this case, over the highway. I think I want to fight the mayor. Took a picture of myself, and I love it so much because it's the first one I've taken, where my brain goes, that's a girl, and I keep wanting to shove it at people, but I'm only wearing a sports bra as a top, so it seems inappropriate to just throw around. You can at least show it to friends. Like Lucky. It's very specifically Lucky that I'm thinking of. Keep searching for gender euphoria wherever you can find it. Take your time finding it. Do what you can for yourself. All that jazz. I'm gonna fall off of this billboard. I'm fine. I'm fine. I didn't almost fall off. You almost fell off. Ow. Why is this ladder so difficult to walk up? Okay. Come here. Go back over there. E. So I can do this. I did show it to Lucky, but they apparently didn't have anything to say about it. They might not be at the able to look at their phone right now. I keep my dad. Okay, I love my father. I love my father a lot. Every now and then, my dad or somebody else will text me as I start my commute home, and my commute home is not a short commute. And so sometimes they'll go, "You haven't answered me and it's been an hour. Are you alive?" And then I have to go, "Yes, I was driving." Hold on, give me 2 seconds. He's pretty okay about it, but every now and then, somebody goes, "Have you read my message yet?" And I'm like, "You sent it literally as soon as I got in the interstate." Please give me time. Ow. Is there still how am I supposed to get I guess I'm supposed to use this. Hello, it's me. Okay, that was fun. Can we do it on this side? Low on spoons. That's also valid too. Keep looking and go, if I put a little bit of muscle, I bet people would react to me the way that people react to that one lesbian woodcutting lady. And Cora. It's the same genre. Complete a wash task while abseiling. I'm sailing? Cool. Can someone tell me why this ladder just wants me to die? What did I— oh god, not you, not you, not you, not you, not you. I'm not looking at you. Please, for the love of God, I am not looking at you. Okay, okay. Yes, wonderful, fantastic, perfect, everything I've ever wanted. I don't know what I'm still missing. Oh, okay. I don't understand how the abseiling thing works and it scares me. I'll get there. Oh wait, no, I saw a paragraph that I've missed. One of my friends has a knack for texting me in the last 15 minutes of my commute, like clockwork, somehow always within the last 15 minutes, sometimes the last 5, and is one of those texters that if you don't catch them on the first message, send like 50 messages of like one word sort of thing. Yeah. Although I did have a really fun instance. So I have a coworker that lives in generally the same area that I do. Hi, Shelby. I have a coworker that lives in generally the same area that I do. And there was a thunderstorm passing through Seattle last week. And I had said, hey, you should go home early because they have slightly different hours than I do and are kind of a little bit more flexible than my hours are. And I was like, you should go home early because there's supposed to be a thunderstorm today. And they left like 30-ish minutes before I left. They got home and the thunderstorm was in full effect. And they sent me a message and in the middle of my commute and were just like, hey, thank you so much for the warning to go home early. I hope that you're doing okay and that like the commute hasn't been terrible with the rain and the lightning. And I had seen almost zero lightning up to this point in my commute. And then as soon as I saw that message pop up on the top of my screen, I was waiting at a light. Literally, in that moment, heard thunder. I was like, God damn it. I've been cursed. But it was fine. Everything was fine. It was really sad though, because the lightning missed where my area was, and I was like, oh, I wanted thunder, and I wanted lightning, and I never get it. And now I never will. It also did like fake hail during my commute. It was like slush balls. It wasn't actually hail, it was just slush. I don't like this man's sign. How do I wish I could just get rid of it. Why is his sign so awful? But it's fine. No, it was a good day though. I liked that day, I liked that weather, and there's security guards that work in our building, and I always talk about how much I like the rain. And I was leaving and one of them was like, I bet you're looking forward to the storm back up where you live. And I was like, yes. Yes, I am. I'm so excited. Because they're always so excited for when it becomes sunny and I'm like, no, 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 give me the rain. Give me the rain and the thunderstorms and the everything. E. What's up, party people? Hi, Star. I'm just cleaning a billboard because I'm a regular guy. Is it Town of the Year? Sure it is. I just want to do so many things right now, but I don't have the energy to do everything. There's somebody that I follow in Blue Sky, and I've been thinking about this all day because of this person's post. There's a person that I follow in Blue Sky. I don't remember why I follow them at all. But they have such an interesting fantasy world that they've built up for a character of theirs. And they originally were a role player, it sounds like. But then they stopped doing roleplay with that character. And they've just been posting these ominous snippets about their character and the world that they built. And I wish I had the talent to put together basically the kind of like documents that they did. Because they had like basically what would be the equivalent of like documents from within their own fictional world, from like I don't know what to call them, because they were, this was very specific. This was very specific to like a trio of gods that were very related to the main character of whatever they're doing, and they had such interestingly formatted prose. Well, first of all, my first thought upon seeing the documents and the screenshots of the documents was like, a screen reader could never read these, because there's a whole bunch of extra symbols, and it's all like very stylized font things that look they look cool, like aesthetically gorgeous. I have no idea what sounds those characters would make if you put it through a screen reader, and it's really funny to me when I see those, because I just think about what kinds of noises they probably make, and then I go and try to like match those characters up to an actual character, and then hear what a screen reader would do to them. And it's usually awful noises, and that's fine. But they had put together this thing for all of those gods, and it looked like it was straight out of like the fictional world, and it just made me go, yeah, but what if I just like, what if I did that, but for the gods in my world? And then I thought about it harder, and I went, you don't need that. You don't need to add another project to that project file. You need to stop. I'm probably not going to stop. It's probably going to be a thing that I go back to later. I did roleplay once upon a time. Okay, I have a thought about roleplay because I saw somebody else talking about it. Now I can't stop thinking about this. Where do the children go to roleplay now? Where do they go? Does anybody know? I don't want to go there. I just want to know that they have a space to go to do things like that. Projects, infinite projects? I don't need your help, projects, man. I don't need my own help, projects, man. Roblox? No, but that's not the kind of role-playing that I'm talking about. I don't think you can do very excessively long-form roleplay in Roblox. I don't think that's a thing. And if it is, I'm scared. What the hell did I join to? I don't know. Whatever I'm talking about today. I didn't know the answer 10 years ago, and I don't know the answer now. But see, that's my question, is I also didn't know where to go 10 years ago, and I made up my own places, and we won't talk about it. That was a dark part of my past. But where do they go now? Because I have even less of a clue. Do the chat rooms still exist on DeviantArt? Do the chat rooms still exist? Wooloo, where do the children go to roleplay? Also Discord? I feel like Discord's less of a thing, but like, I don't feel like that's fitting necessarily everything that I know, and I'm also not gonna go to a, well, maybe I would if I was a teenager. Hold on. I need to think deeply about who I was as a teenager and who I am now. If I was a teenager in this era, would I be on Roblox? The answer is probably yes, and I think I hate that. But also, how do you find the community still? Nobody's role-playing on Twitter anymore. Not anymore. See people asking for roleplay things with Discord and Tumblr a lot. But there's no chat room places for it anymore. Horrifying. Anyways. The solution that the person that I was listening to, I don't remember who it was because it was a random content creator. They were talking about how things like character AI were the solution. And they were like, I don't like them, but I feel like that is the only solution that exists. And then I sat there and I was horrified for an extended period of time. Because character AI is disgusting and no one should ever use it, and also it just takes everybody's characters from fan fiction, regular fiction, and otherwise, without any permission from any author or creator ever. Boo. Bad. Horrible. Hate that. Sorry, my brain has locked in. Wonderful. I've locked in. What is still... I don't know what's still pinging, but whatever. Oh, is it this frame? Oh, that's fine. I can clean that later. Character AIs, they're actively killing the kids. Well, yeah, they're doing that too. They're making them unable to talk to each other effectively, more so than what the internet was already doing, and also literally causing mental health crises. Repeatedly. And yet, the only things they want to ban are books about identities that people apparently don't understand and think that their kids don't need to understand. I love the human race, but also I hate the human race. But also I love my cat. And I'm going to bring this around to something positive. Today, I got home. I laid on my bed and got her fill of attention. And then walked away from me, and then came back. At which point, she was not to be fed yet. She had about an hour before I was going to feed her. And I was laying there, and I was staring at my phone, because I was catching up on stuff. And Anne jumped back onto the bed, jumped all the way to the corner, where she was trying to look cute and try to be within my frame of vision so that I would look at her and feel bad that I had not fed the cute cat yet. And do you want to know what happened next? Can any of you guess what happened next? Because it's very, very fun. And she does this a lot anyways, and she was very embarrassed after it happened. She fell off the bed. Just straight off the corner of the bed. Just rolled right up. It was really stupid. She was incredibly embarrassed. She did not like that it happened. What's going on? My cat dumb. My cat dumb idiot, and I love her. And fell off. She did fall off. L plus ratio plus fell off. Literally, of bed. What did Anne do this time? Oh, she was trying to beg to get me to feed her sooner, and then I didn't feed her sooner. and she fell off the bed trying to look cute to appeal to the part of me that babies her. Because she's silly, dumb idiot, and I love her. What a good cat. She's still just stupid. Oop. Come in. There we go. Oh, somebody's... okay. I heard a noise and I was like, is it in the video game? And then I pulled off my headphone and I could hear it. It's my neighbor. They're cooking. I'm hearing the fan on their oven. I'm not going insane. My computer's not trying to explode. Everything is great. We had to look into a case for class of a teenager that got too into his Game of Thrones girlfriend. Yeah, that's the one that, unfortunately, killed himself, I believe. I remember when that one broke out and everybody was gonna be like, and now they're gonna say that now they're gonna put regulations on them. They did not. I actually don't think anybody has talked about those since, even though the issue is ongoing. Which I think is more worrying than anything else. Like, they're just straight up not acknowledging the problem. I can't help you if you aren't listening to the entirety context, Wooloo. Unfortunately, that is the way of the I don't know what I'm talking about all the time conversations. Nonsense happens. Hi, Aether. Oh, there's lights. Oh no. Touch. Whee! Damn, I need 3,300 feathers. Is it to get me to go pet my cat? Is she over there? I don't know where she is. I can't see her. She's somewhere. Oh. Whoop. Maybe I need this to go elsewhere. Don't touch that. Hold on. If she's over here, I'll pet her. Ow. Oh, I see her ears. Okay, I go pet her. I'll be right back. I'm back. She's very sleepy. She's so very sleepy. I think she just finished eating. Because she takes like a break from her food and then comes back. A sleepy baby. But Anne has been pet. There we go. I'm also always concerned because it's hindering critical thinking skills so much. When you have the prediction to the answer 3000, why do you ever think about how you should be getting the answer? Well, I mean, this has been a thing for a while. I think that there's... You said she's 10 this year? She should be. Because she was... Hold on. I got her in... Oh no, I'm trying to do math. Don't talk to me right now. I got her in 2018, and she was over a year old, but she was almost to 2 years. Because her birthday's in October, and I got her in July. If I got her in 2018, and she turned 2 in 2018, then yes, she turns 10 this year. I know how time works. That's not true. I don't know how time works, but I know how time works. I love indecipherable sentences. Okay, wait, hold on. I can go back. I had a train of thought. It's not just that AI is impeding critical thinking, it's more so that there's a bunch of other things that are also impeding critical thinking skills in conjunction with AI. Because if we're going to be honest about it, the fact that we have had Google at our fingertips for as long as we have had it, and we've remained relatively okay, is impressive. The problem is that people have started taking the robots as always correct and no longer doing verification. So it's not even just that the critical thinking skills are gone, it is that the critical thinking skills that have existed, people are ignoring in favor of the easiest solution. And the easiest solution is not the correct solution, it is just the one that they have to do the least amount of work for. It's a multiple level issue that is not just the AI is killing our brains, it is people are also killing their brains by actively not wanting to care about it. And I don't know how you solve that problem. I don't know how you convince the next generation of people that their ability to form a sentence with their own hands and possibly on paper is critical to what they want to do with their lives. Because a lot of them will say like, well, nobody uses computers or nobody uses pen and paper. I mean, hell, even in Ether's stream today, one of the chatters, I said go draw a fish and they said I don't have Paint downloaded. But you don't need paint to draw a fish, you just need a pen and a paper. And you don't even need a good pen or good paper, you just need a surface to draw on. Rayman Legends enemy AI? Good. AI to make opinionated essay? Bad. Yes. The other problem, really, I think what's actually causing a lot of problems today is also the fact that every time we make a new advancement in technology, we also try to humanize it so that we trust it. But then when we trust it, then you don't verify. So when they make the AIs very personable and very happy and very excited to talk to you, it feels like a person, and we don't need it to be a person. I need it to tell me how much glue to put in my pizza to make the sauce, or to make the cheese stick to the top. According to Reddit. You even need that? I can trace a fish in my fucking jeans with my nail? Yeah, but like, it's under the sauce. It's just the fact that like somebody didn't even think like, what do I have around me to do a thing? They went, I don't have Paint installed on my computer. First of all, I always keep something to doodle on the computer on, even if it is a different program, just because being able to doodle on the computer is nice. Sometimes I need to just scribble something angrily in a Paint window so that I can move on with my life. Or I want to see how badly I can fuck up drawing a circle by hand with a mouse. you know, normal things. This reminds me that I need to go re-download plugins for Sprite. That's not related, I just forgot that I needed to do those again. Constantly do the stupid, you're so right, the situation isn't your fault. Blah blah blah, yeah. Friends have been pretending to be AIs for now in a specific group chat. Okay, but like, they literally, the AIs literally gaslight you. I think that's one of the worst things. They're meant to be personable so that you use them, but then it's just garbage that they're spewing at you. But we believe so confidently, we believe them. Because they sound so confident in their garbage. But we've been doing the same thing with people for forever. You say the right thing confidently enough at somebody and they go, you're right. And they should stop doing that. I'm not right about the thing just because I said it confidently enough. Anyways, verify your sources always. Read tons of things. Don't believe anything anybody says on the internet. Everybody's lying. I want pizza. That's not anything to do with anything. I just want pizza. Pizza. That was a classic experiment about asking kids to identify experts versus non-experts, if I recall correctly. Yeah. I mean, it worked on Child Me too. I have no memory of the Bush Al Gore election, but apparently, according to my parents, I liked Al Gore more because he smiled more. And I trusted him because of the smile. I was a wee child, did not understand what was going on. But perception does a lot. It's also why a lot of times, this is like the wildest thing. What always ends up mattering in like marketing and sales stuff is going to be perception over anything else. It does not matter at the end of the day how good your product is. If you do not present a confident or good enough picture to the people that you're trying to pitch it to. If you present a confident image, people are more likely to trust you to do the thing. Trust all celebrities with everything they say. Yes. Definitely what I am saying. You should trust me. It's me, your local micro-influencer. Because I think that's technically what I am. I'm something. I'm playing PowerWash Sim. What am I standing on? I'm not gonna ask that question. It's fine. We will trust in the floating PowerWash man. Yep, Minty's on another list. I'm not gonna say that sentence out loud right now. I'm probably also on a list somewhere, but for other reasons. Okay, let's go ahead and see how much of the railing we can get done. We'll start on this side because, sure. I would be surprised if I'm on a list. I've said enough things on the internet that I'm probably on a list somewhere. Which list and why? Again, I don't know. And I don't want to know. I wish to live in ignorance. Ooh. Should I worry about what kind of list? Well, it's not an awful list. I just talk on the internet, and I've said a couple of sentences that I'm very certain that some people will be offended by. I'm on the naughty list. I'm getting coal in my stocking this Christmas. Santa's not gonna give me any presents. Wee. Get off the ladder. Stop it. Stop. Am I just learning this? I mean, non-binary is also under the trans umbrella, so any non-binary friends or gender fluid or other literally non-binary things are... I'm gonna fight Aether. Because that's a good joke. Non-binary is very good. 10 out of 10. No, we're not talking about trains. I'm taking the trains away from the rats. No, no trains. Or something. Oh god. Cannot take the trains from me? I can. I can ban them in a way that you can't undo. They can have their dragons, but we're not allowed to have trains. They haven't mentioned dragons at all today. I can't remember if I ever told you all I'm non-binary, have I? Shelby, I'm gonna be honest. I'm going to assume that any rat that shows up, if they are not genderqueer in some way, it's just a matter of time. I miss time? I miss time too. You know what? I'm taking away trains and dragons, but time is allowed to talk about dogs. You cannot ban them from our speech. You can ban them from our speech, but you cannot ban them from my brain in a way that matters. No, but I can make it so that you don't even get the option to accept them if somebody tries to talk about them on stream. I have learned things about the blocked terms. It's very fun. Can I keep my insects as a topic? Nah, yes, but not bees. I'm keeping the bees far away from chat, and it's all Aether's fault, so if you have a problem with this, yell at him. Boop. Also, YouTube's getting rid of their clips things. Stop it. This topic ban's so targeted, what have I missed? Okay, well, if you try to type the word bees, Shelby, very specifically bees is a plural bees, you won't be able to you won't be able to say it. Also, if you say D's nuts, that'll get automatically held for review. Should I test this? You can test it. See? See? It gets held. Okay, well, Void's back on the vulture bees. These bees. Why can't I put this structure in the road? Stupid. Let me put it in the road. I don't know how to fish. I don't know how to fish. Void, I don't know how to fish. With dedication, what? Hi, Icy. Wait, what if I just eat your points? I mean, you can. Okay. So anyways, what if I make a notebook? Well, I wouldn't make the notebook. I would probably just find a spare note. What if I take a spare notebook and I just turn the notebook into the Bible of a church or something that exists within my fictional world? What if I live a very normal life and do very normal things? Whee! Okay, now we can clean the floor of this, and then we'll do the underneath of this. Like, write the Bible or just make it exist in the... No, I mean write it. Write out the religious documentation for the world. I want to write weird things for all the gods. Whoa. I don't like it here. How long do you plan to make it? Yes. That's not helpful. I'm trying so hard to be normal about writing religious text. This totally isn't an area of insane thought for me. I always live here. I've lived here for a very long time. I've been making pantheons for as long as I can remember. And I've been writing the random little pieces of religious text for a very long time. But I haven't felt compelled to actually sit down and make, like, the full documentation for something in a while. But this world building project, I think, demands it. I think I need to sit down and spend some time with some of the deities and go, like, what do you want? Because I wrote out some basic descriptions and some basic stuff, but I'm missing out on, like, any fun rituals or things related to the moon cycles, because there's 2 different moons for the world that I made. I could do so much. Ziploc, if that's what your heart desires. My heart desires cookies. Religion in fiction is difficult. I mean, it is and it isn't. Maybe that's a hot take. I legitimately don't think that it is difficult to create a compelling religion in a fictional world. I think most people end up facing their own biases when they are encountering a fictional religion, and that is where the trouble lies. Because you can't control how somebody reacts to a fictional religion, and there's a lot of people that have some very strong opinions, one way or another, about their religion. And so even if you say, hey, this fictional religion has absolutely zero to do with any real religions that exist, and my intent is not to say anything about any religions that actually exist, somebody will inevitably find a way to be upset and feel angry about something that you have done. And there realistically is almost nothing you can do about that kind of reaction. What was I stuck on? I'm not sure you can write cookies into existence, but if anyone could, could, it would be you. I can't write the cookies into existence, but I can go to work tomorrow where there are still chocolate chip cookies and have one in the morning before anybody else shows up to the office. And then I can eat 3 more before most people show up to the office. I'm not going to eat 4 cookies tomorrow, but I could. Can you fax me one? Yes. They're good cookies. They're even vegan, which is delightful because they're just good cookies. Okay, I've clicked all your menu icons. Leave me alone. Oh god. Oh no, I can't write that word. Oh god, that word hurts my brain. Skibbity Bible probably exists and somebody's irrationally mad at it for serious reasons. Oh, absolutely. If you feel like you wouldn't like the texture looking at an oyster, then that's okay. Oysters aren't for everyone. That's true. Maybe I struggle a lot with filling out religion and fantasy settings beyond extremely minimal stuff. So, when it comes to... Okay. So, I feel a lot about this, but this is because I spend a lot of time looking at, like, the way that humans come up with religions. Historically, what we're doing is answering questions. So, all you really need to worry about when you're working on a fictional world and you're trying to, like, create religions and things, it's kind of religion is a feedback loop between the environment, the questions that people need answered, and the way that those people interpret something. And there's a lot of variables in there, and I understand that that is a very simplified way of looking at it, but that is the basics of what you're looking at. So I always start with, what question does this god answer, or questions, because there's a lot of instances where God answers more than one.
Microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Exactly. What if I eat 6 cookies? You'll get sick. That's not true. If you can figure out what the god represents, look at the environment in which the god exists, like, or the people that worship that god exist, and then think about the way that they are able to interpret that within the context of where they are. You should be able to at least fill out some slightly more complicated things about how they view their religion in that space. So, like, I have already in the Wide World project, the Fae are very different from the way that the mortal plane exists. The Fae have a very, like, they view the gods almost as equals and expect to see them, because the questions that they answer, they expect to see the gods in forms around them because of the way that their world exists. So the gods show up pretty frequently in whatever form, and they're usually pretty open about being where they are. However, on the mortal plane, which is where basically everybody else lives, the gods there have a variety of different ways of dealing with things. So I'm gonna cry, hold on. There's an area of my world where there is an island of people. Jesus. There's an island of people, and they are kind of like they want to be left alone. They live off on their own. They try their best to not have outsiders come into the island and participate in their stuff. That religious experience is going to be way, way, way different, and perhaps even more intense than some of the religious practices of some of the other mainland areas nearby. And it could even be the same gods, but the practices of the people on the island are going to be vastly different. So, like, they could answer the same questions. They could even interpret many things the same, but that environmental factor of where they are and how they participate in the world is going to have a lot of impact on how the religion actually physically manifests within the community. Like, I anticipate a lot of, like, very focused rituals for that community versus, like, the mainland, where you're probably going to see it a little bit looser. Maybe the, like, major holidays are observed more closely, but most people are going to ignore some of the smaller rites, except for the more religiously fanatical people. Not in a bad way, just the difference. And there's always going to be variances within that. And that's the fun part for me, is looking at how different people will look at something. But maybe I think I just like cults a little bit too much, and I've also been watching all the people on TikTok do the absolute stupid thing of running into the Scientology buildings. Have you guys seen this, by the way? Have you guys seen what's going on with the Scientology buildings and people in California? I haven't? Okay, so this is pretty well known, and I am not saying to go and harass the Scientologists, because that is a bad thing to do. You should not harass the Scientologists. I've joked about it every now and then. I would never actually go and mess with them. There's a number of people that are known to speak out against Scientology and other things. Now, those people started posting videos timing how long it took for the Scientologists to clock that they were outside, to close everything down and shut the building so that the opposition couldn't get into the building and do anything. Now, the fascinating part of this is that this then spiraled outward into some TikTokers going, I wonder how far into the Scientology building I could run. I woo. And so now, there's a whole bunch of people, and again, I do not vouch for this. You should not harass these people. I don't care that you disagree with what they believe. You should not harass anybody. But all of these TikTokers are now making mad dashes into the Scientology building, trying to get around enough of the security guards without actually causing problems to map out more of the building. Because nobody knows what the interior of that building looks like if they're not a Scientologist. And now they've got a good portion of the first floor done. It baffles me. It's kind of funny, and also worry for everyone doing it. Oh, I'm absolutely worried for everybody doing it. You should not harass people. I, again, don't care if you don't agree with what they believe. If you don't believe what they believe, don't harass people. Don't harass them. It is not worth it. It is just... Oh, 69%. It's not worth your time and potential legal trouble. Really, at the end of the day. That is, like, largely how I feel about it. However, why is this the Area 51 raid of 2026? It's just trying to map the Scientology building. Oh god, not again. Listen, if they had a couple Kyles, they could do it easy. I didn't even realize there was a ladder on the side. I'm just so used to the other one where there was no ladder on the side, but now there's a ladder on the side. Someone better Naruto run. Please don't tempt them. I have no idea what they're doing with the Scientology building, like, attempts, but they're certainly doing something. Also, ads start in a minute. I like this song. Sounds like the same vibe as Rush Area 51 when they can't take us all to meet. Yeah. Listen, the more we try to invent new things, the more everything stays the same. Nothing is unique. Wait, hello? Why are you having such a problem with being... Okay. What? Okay. Oop. This is all green from Actually, thank you. I'll try to keep it in mind in the future. I now need to practice making characters like actually religious instead of just ostensibly religious like I am. That's the hardest part, I think, is trying to find a balance of figuring out where characters' religion lies when it differs from your own. Not that it's like super difficult, it's just, it's really hard with some of those things to get out of your own head about it and think about how it could exist for someone else. I woo. To think about my Pathfinder's character relationship to religion more, because so far I've been playing her as basically atheistic in that she doesn't worship any gods, not disbelieves them, so maybe more agnostic than atheistic. I don't think she would be. Like, even besides that religion is generally common in the setting, the reason she still has her left arm is because of a cleric of a major deity healing her back when she was a child, which is definitely going to affect her views of that god. Yeah. I mean, again, I would say it is a lot of, like, it's the same thing, but, like, really refined down to a point when it comes to a character's view on religion. Where do they come from? What have they experienced in their life? What questions are they trying to answer? So, like, I know that for you, there's a lot of characters dealing with, like, trying to become human, or trying to become a person, I guess I should say. Because it's not necessarily about being human. But finding that humanity, sometimes you go to religion to find stuff like that. Sorry, I needed to adjust my mouse. You look for a lot of that in the religion that you're looking at. You look for answers about whether or not you're a good person inside of that religion. All this kind of stuff. Like, unironically, if you're ever struggling to, like, look at it, go find, again, with very much respectful energy towards everything. Go find the people on the internet that are talking about how they returned to, like, Christianity. And just see how they talk about, like, what it's done for them and how it's improved their lives, or, like, what they were struggling with before that they think they're doing better with now in comparison to how they were doing before. Because that's kind of what people are doing. You'll see people, granted, very big granted. There's a lot of people that I do see going back to religion, but they're sometimes doing it more for a social reason than for wanting a big answer to the questions of life. I see a lot of older people specifically go back to their churches, even if they're not super religious, just for a sense of community. So that's also a thing. Like, look at why real people are doing it, transpose that onto the characters that you already have. Like, hell, like, even if you have a character that's not super religious, maybe they are religious in terms of, like, this is the church that they go to, because that's where they needed that social interaction in their life. And that was the place to go for it. That was the place in the community where they could get that social interaction. Maybe, like your character, you said with your character getting healed by a cleric, maybe they wouldn't devote their life to that god, but maybe they would do... I think about Catholics a lot, because Catholics are so... Again, if you're a Catholic and listening to this, just know that I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. Catholics, despite being so uptight about so many things, Catholics are the most witchy Christians to ever exist. There's a lot of reasons why this is true, and I don't have, like, the brain power to break down, like, all of the practices that eventually got fed into the Catholic faith and how they look at things. Because, A, I'm not a Catholic, I haven't been Catholic, so a lot of my information is also secondhand. But it's really funny to me looking at them, and I can be like, okay, you have an issue or you have a problem, and you go to your saint. And you have your favorite saints, and maybe this is like your favorite saint, and so when you have your problems you pray to that saint that give you guidance on that. And I'm like, that is just you going, okay, well, I don't need the big man, I need the demigod, basically. So maybe it's something like that, where they don't really believe, but like they encounter an issue, the god of that faith is there, dealing with that issue generally, and then they pray to them. And it's not like a super serious thing, it's just not even like a force of habit, it's just like a comfort thing. Religion is really interesting in fiction, and I think fiction is such a lovely place to explore people's relationships to religion, because religion is so complicated and unique for a lot of people. And again, with a lot of respect, I think a lot of Christians could get a lot of good conversations out of the way that a lot of agnostic or secular or other religious people think about religion if they read fiction with an open mind. But again, there's a lot of Christians out there that go, nope, they talk about magic, I can't touch it. But if they would just touch the book, they would get to see so many interesting perspectives on faith in people's lives, and I think it would do a lot of people a lot of good, and they will never do it. So anyways, I'm not saying that there's like a deep-seated reason why I like creating pantheons, except that I'm utterly fascinated with religion, but I am saying that you can do a lot of studying how the general sociological structure is for an area, kind of based on the way that their religion is set up. Like, if I wanted to have like a very like, I'm trying to think of good words. If I wanted to have basically a dictatorship in part of the world in my story, the religion would reflect that. Or vice versa. You know, like, you would have, like, the foil and mirror of both of them. This is what I spend a lot of time at work spacing out thinking about. That and Hello Kitty Island Adventure. But I think Hello Kitty Island Adventure is just really a strange world to think about if you try to apply any sort of real terms to it, so I just spend a lot of time thinking about that. Look up a little bit more. So paladins in Pathfinder have a mechanic where members of their faith can feel their god's presence through their paladin. And we used to have a paladin minion that took an arrow to the knee and had to retire. I was writing a piece of fiction that I later abandoned where Kara was going to talk about what that she does a little bit, feel the presence through the paladin. And I know my parents are nearby while I'm off doing my own thing, but they're not actively watching me away. Since the paladin was a paladin of a god who healed her, I should go and try and finish that. You should. I think it's a wonderful thing to explore, and again, I don't think spirituality and faith is a bad thing in any regard. And my own relationship with it can be complicated at times, and has been complicated at times throughout my life. But I think letting a character and yourself explore spirituality in that regard in a fictional universe is fun. Like many things in fiction, you can explore it without ever forcing yourself into a place where you have to, like, say, this is what I wholeheartedly believe. You get to just play with it and be like, well, I don't 100% believe this, but I do think it's a neat thing to think about. Basically, I think more people should always feel free to basically use books and stories as thought experiments about the things that they wish to explore in their daily life that they are unable to or don't want to actually do in real life. like further explore a religion or look really hard at some other aspect of the world that they exist in. Fiction is a safe place to kind of go through and explore it. And I don't really care if somebody says that, like, the thing that I'm writing about or exploring in my fiction is trash or abhorrent or whatever. I don't know what else I would say about it. I'm trying to think of words. Oh no, what else would they say about it? Not sacrilege. I guess it could be sacrilegious. If read in the right light. Immoral, maybe. There are definitely some subjects that in pieces that'll probably never see the light of day that I want to explore, and if somebody saw it, they'd be like, what the fuck are you writing about? And I'd be like, I don't know. Sometimes I just have thoughts. And they don't mean anything. I just need to get them out of my head somewhere. Sure, that's close enough. Why am I still going up the stairs like that? Force of habit. Actually, I think my problems come down to I don't like the way that we've sanitized a lot of fiction. And again, tropes and things aren't a bad thing. I don't think having a lot of, like, more accessible works of fiction is a bad thing. But it feels like if people don't write correctly within a genre, a lot of people kind of penalize them for it. And I think that's shitty and stupid. Admittedly, our Pathfinder DM has kind of said that they aren't super interested in exploring religion in the game, so I'd mostly be stuck to my writing, which is a little bit of a shame. Because I was looking through the deities one time, and one of the gods, not the one that healed Kara, like exactly perfectly fits her ethos, and it could be interesting to see her interact with that deity's faithful. I mean, even if your DM doesn't want to, like, super closely enter into, like, the realm of that, like, all of the religions and things, maybe they could find a space where, like, you get to some sort of, temple or something that contains those of that faith, just so that you at least have the opportunity to explore some of, like, I almost said just same brain people, but I guess that's technically correct, but, like, just get a chance to kind of interact with some other similarly minded people. Cat! Okay. Sorry, I saw a cat and my brain stopped. I think that was the other thing that was interesting to me about this person. The person that was doing the thing that I saw that made me want to sit down and write more religious documentation for my world was just some of the details that they left in for their gods, and I was like, oh yeah, no, people have gods that are just, like, disgusting and awful, but in, like, wonderful, wonderful ways. Because sometimes when something scares you so much, you revere it, and that's kind of the vibe of what was going on with their group of deities that they were specifically talking about. Like, one was very specifically about, like, the kind of infections that come from open wounds, and they were describing how that deity normally looked, and, like, the fact that it was, like, sorry if this is really gross to people, but it was, like fungus and things growing inside of things, and, like, it was very inhuman description, and I was like, this is just fascinating. This is just fascinating to see somebody actually get into, like, the nitty-gritty and, like, present a, like, truly awful, disgusting image that moves me viscerally. Like, this has an immense impact on the way that I actively think about this character in this world that you're existing in. And they are probably never going to publish anything for this. This is just an OC that they have that they really like writing about. And that makes it even more interesting. Maybe, and I could just explore that in my own fiction too. It could definitely be interesting to think about how Kara's feelings of inhumanity relate to her feelings about the gods as well, having been raised in a human society without contact with other Tengu. Yeah! Do it. I'm always going to be for people exploring things in fiction that are harder to just randomly bring up to strangers in real life to talk about. You want to talk about what makes a person a person? Damn, you take that fictional bird character and you explore it with them, because realistically that's gonna be the way that you get to actual interesting thoughts about it for yourself. I can fit that into Dreamwater maybe. That one already has religious tones and I'm struggling to fill in the middle already. If you want more feedback on Cult and anything to do with that one, please let me know. Please let me know. I love a cult. IRL strangers. Listen, sometimes they're okay. Why am I... Okay. Walking's hard. Okay, so now we need to... Actually, I could probably do this without... I could probably do it without it. I need to figure out more about the cult and how they think about the physical phenomenon they worship and how their leader relates to that as well. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Cults are so fascinating. Listen, large religious movements are easier to put together because it's really easy to be like, this is the general faith. They do X, Y, and Z to demonstrate their faith to these gods. And then sometimes you'd go, okay, but what if I got a cult? And what if I gave them these 15 really weird things? And then you also give some of those same things to the large religious practice so that you can point at the cult and point at the large religion and go, same, but different. And then the characters in the book go, hey, wait a second. What do you mean this is the same as this? I already know they're going to be so into Kara because she has literally what they... Oh god, she has what they want in the same way humans have what she wants? Yeah. Welcome. You've just created a cult leader. How does this make you feel? Well, I guess you've made a potential cult leader. Or at least a really nice sacrificial lamb. Don't spoil the ending? Well, I mean, there's only so many way a cult story ends. It's either you are part of the practice and they want to sacrifice you. You become indoctrinated into the cult. You... What is the other one? You escape, but never really escape. There's a couple others. Oh, I've fallen. There's only so many ways it ends. Because usually a cult is a negative story. I've never seen I've never in my life seen a fictional world in which the cult is ever described as a positive thing for 100% of the story. Every single time there is a group that is considered a cult, even if they are portrayed as positive in the beginning of the story, they almost always become a negative by the end of the general story. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's multiple books to get to that point. Sometimes it is just the majority of a book to get there. There's a lot of reasons why it goes one way or the other. This is still dirty? Oh, I bet it's on the outside. Yes. Cool. I've done it. I'm hoping this is peak cleaning. We're looking for someone to clean up our tea room over at the powerful. Oh my god, tea house! Tea house! Billboard. Hold on. We need to watch that again. Hold on. Oh my god. No. I need you guys to look at the bottom when I get towards the bottom of this. Please look at the bottom of this when I get down there. Because it doesn't matter. I'm flying! Wonderful. Can I buy things for my house? I mean my business. My business that I own that is very serious business. Wait, can I put stripes on my van? No. Wait, yes? Yes? Can I get stripes for my van? No? Why is there no purple? Why is there no purple? Oh my god, I could be a watermelon. Orange cow outfit. Fuck, I can't have that one. I want to be blue. I want kitty cat glove. I can have kitty cat boots. I've spent all my money. Blue. Oh. Equip an item of clothing. Hold on, I want cat boots. I will never see myself. It will not matter at all, but I want cat boots. Okay. Can I have my next job? I know how to enter this. Thank you. Okay, we have Power Falls and maybe something else? I thought there was another job. Maybe I'm lying. No. Tea house. We just finished our annual karmic mud flinging workshop and we're looking at our wonderful tea room covered top to bottom when my assistant asked if it would ever be clean again. I laughed and said, of course it will, and at that exact moment, a flyer for a power washing company blew into the courtyard and stuck itself into the wall. Whilst the mud made that one unreadable, it reminded me that we already had your number from Harper, who'd had a great time at our workshop. Okay. Why are there so many gnomes? Okay. Cat. How many? Why are there so many gnomes? Wouldn't you like to gnome, Weather Boy? I would like to know. Wait, are there 6 of them? Can I put them all at the table? Hold on, I desperately need to know how many gnomes we have. Because if I can put them at the table, I'm doing that immediately. Because I see 5. So where's the 6th one? Is it on the ceiling? Roof? Whatever. Up there? I like this one. It's contemplating life. Well, guess you'll never know. Okay, wait, yeah, that's 5. There's 6 spots, though! There has to be a 6th one. You! I see you! I see you! I see you up there! Why am I going up the stairs like this? Why do I never use the ladder? Hold on, I need to set up a gnome tea party. So quickly. This is so important to my soul. There's a gnome tea party that I could be having. Can I get you to fall back right side up? Wonderful. Okay. I can do this. I can give the gnomes a tea party. I'm giving the gnomes a tea party. The gnomes get a tea party. That's partially really real world connotations of the word cult, I think. In my dragon setting, there's a group called the Cult of Worm who worship dragons just generally and do that by centralizing the first dragon, Worm obviously, and I give them very mixed treatment from an approach of they're an organization with some small amount of power. That power can be abused or not abused by those in charge. That doesn't give the group itself an inherent moral character. Usually, the way that cults end up happening in real life is they are small religious movements. And I'm not saying that they are all inherently bad. The ones in media are generally villainized because we have so many stories of, I mean, hell, even recently, there is somebody, I think he was even a Christian preacher. Like, he is a Christian preacher who was selling all these people on the idea of something, said, yeah, just come work at this thing for me, and had a call center that was basically just human trafficking. That's all it was. This is recently. Dude is just now going to jail for this, I believe. So when I'm talking about like the negative connotations of cult, the reason why they're also negative is because in general, right now, if you hear about a religious offshoot that is small, it is usually somebody using that religious offshoot for something nefarious. In the human world, in the world in which we exist. Like, 10 times out of 10, pretty much. If you are hearing about a religious offshoot, or an alternative religion, that has a very small group of people supporting it, it is a cult, it is a bad thing, and it is actively a negative. I think if you look up the word cult, I'm trying to remember what exactly the definition is off the top of my head, and I can't remember because I do words good. Hold on. I think cult is just defined as small group of beliefs and practices. No, it's not going to be about a single figure because that's not part of it. You can have cults that worship multiple gods. Hold on, Merriam-Webster. A group such as an organization or religious sect with tenets and practices regarded as coercive, insular, or dangerous. And then they have the one about like cult following. A system of religious beliefs and rituals is the third one, which I think is used... I don't know which order it happened in. It's probably that the system of religious beliefs and rituals talking about something very specifically related to like smaller religious practices in the past. We'd call them a cult because it was a smaller group. And then it kind of snowballs into the current more modern definition because of the way that everything has gone. I would say that using the word cult in writing, you are going to find more people actually regarding it as a negative. You can use other words and totally basically make a cult without it ever being a cult. On paper. There's definitely other terms that you can use. Like, think about all, like, hold on, I forgot the word. It's not nunneries. Nope, abbot is not the word I'm thinking of either. Convents. Convents and, well, convents are specifically for nuns, but the one that's also for, men. Both of those, terms around those are going to end up being regarded as less derogatory or less mean-spirited, than words like cult will be. And you can usually use those in a way that can shorthand in somebody's mind priory. Priory was the other one I was thinking of. But you can use a lot of those words as a shorthand for religious movements that people aren't going to immediately view as bad. If you want somebody to be suspicious of it, call it a cult. If you want people to have more ambiguity in whether or not they should trust in a group that is a religious group inside of a fictional story, use words besides cult. Because in the era of Scientology and all of the other religious movements and Jonestown and everything, there's enough, like, societal brain around the idea of a cult that you're not going to be able to escape from all of the negatives of it. Bye, Aether. Have good time zone. Take care of yourself. Ah! No, you can use the term. Just be aware of what people are going to think about it. But listen, I'm gonna say a lot of things about a word being regarded as negatively. I think you should use whatever word for you fits. Because what I am saying at the end of the day should not matter to you more than what you want to use. I just think about cults a lot. I made a joke when I worked at Twitch where I was like, I am legitimately probably about 2 sentences from talking about a cult. And that has not changed in the time that anybody has known me. This is not a joke. I am always about 2 sentences away from talking about a cult. Because I find them utterly fascinating in both the ways that, like, anybody can fall prey to a cult, and the ways that people look for spirituality in things, and sometimes when other religions aren't doing it for them, they will go to a cult. When somebody's so severely lacking something in their life, a cult will look really, really nice. And I find that so inherently fascinating. You might be in a cult right now and not even know it. Well, I mean, that's another thing. I know Woo has joked about it a lot during streams, especially back when I talked about cults more regularly. But, like, the difference between what cults have been historically and, like, the horror stories that we have and the way that the internet is right now, the difference is very, very thin. And I don't think a lot of people think about the difference between an online community and the cults that we've heard about where things go horribly, horribly wrong. And I am not saying streamers are going to lead people into drinking the Kool-Aid. Not what I am saying, but I am saying that there are streamers that have absolutely gotten their audiences to do things that I find abhorrent, and it is a cult movement. They've actively recruited people into the mindset that they have and said, no, we're doing this now. And if you try to tell them that what you're in is basically a cult, those people would react the same way that a legitimately brainwashed cult member would react to it. And I would argue that there are some communities online that are so cult-ish that you basically do have to try to deprogram people in the same way that they have to deprogram them from a cult. Maybe not to the same extent, but pretty much. Online communities and cults are right next to each other, and I think about it constantly. I think about it when I watch streamers, I think about it when I look at communities for streamers, and I think if you had an alien, just look at our media, there is definitely a world in which those aliens would just believe that all of our streamers are some sort of demigod that a group of people has decided to worship. And I'm not saying that that's true for every streamer or that every streamer is like a god. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that like the way people pay attention to them and the way that people try to interact with them, very interestingly, very cultish, very fascinating. It's a benefit and a negative. It's never both. It's never just one. Actually, I need to decide if I'm keeping one of the original premises of a dragon setting, which the concept of some famous rulers, sometimes called monster lords, individuals who have managed to unify very large groups of people, mostly non-humans, and who possessed a handful of dragon abilities without being dragons themselves, specifically dragon eyes and dragon commands. Later being an ability dragons have to compel creatures to do things with very particular rules and limits. So like vampire compulsion, but probably less... well, more ethics, I guess. More ethics and rules than some of the vampire compulsions. I think the human mind is a very fascinating thing to think about. We're all just weird little guys. Okay. You keep falling over, so I'm going to... nope. Can I knock you over on one of these? Close enough. No. No. Sure. Stay. Why must you all be like this? You lay there now. Okay. 3 gnomes at a party. Dragon Command is pretty unethical in my opinion, and I'm very firm about that position because it doesn't like make you want to do it or compel you in a mental sense. It literally physically forces your body to do what you're commanded. No, that's the same way that like vampire compulsion generally makes people do whatever, but there's almost never any hard limits besides those imposed by the vampires on themselves. If that makes sense. Like, the ability doesn't have any limits. But generally, like, vampires will have, like, their own morals about it, so they'll be like, I'm not going to force you to do this. And then inevitably in a book, they're going to be like, oh no, but you must, otherwise you will die, and therefore I will compel you to do the thing so you do not die, and then I'll feel terrible about it because I've compelled you to do the thing. It becomes a moral quandary that they have to grapple with. I heard a bug. Can I go inside of this? No. Human mind thinking about itself as an interesting event in the universe. Do you want to talk about the rhetoric behind talking about rhetoric? Because I don't. It made my head hurt. And it still makes my head hurt. I took that class so long ago in college, and yet the thoughts, they still exist inside of my head. Apparently the sun is made out of the fake cheese slices at the store that don't melt. What? Okay, whatever. The limits are generally that the compulsion can't make a creature knowingly bring itself to harm, and the difficulty in breaking the command has a lot to do with the specific aspects of the dragon and how that relates to the command, as well as the degree that the magic in your body aligns with that as well. Okay, I'm gonna say something controversial. Zir, have you read Death Note? Sorry, that wasn't meant for here. No, I haven't actually. I don't think you need to read Death Note for the actual ins and outs of what happened. I think you need to hear the ins and outs of the rules about how the Death Note functioned. Because I think you would honestly find it fascinating in regards of thinking about how compulsion can work. Because there's a large portion of the manga that is just... Light spends a lot of time... We don't have to get into the ethics about it because the ethics of it are very, you know, in your face about it. Light spends a lot of time experimenting on people. Basically. He uses a whole bunch of criminals that he knows he wants to kill anyways. And he says, what are the limits of what this thing can do? And then he writes down all of the rules for how the Death Note works. Because there are a set of rules that you are given, and then there's a set of rules beyond that. Don't make me relive Death Note. You don't want to talk about Ellen Light and the handcuffs? Ibit? You don't want to revisit that era of the internet of everybody absolutely being obsessed with those two men? I have read some about it. Actually, maybe I should look into it more. If you can just find, because they use them as like between chapter inserts or interstitials in the actual manga volumes. Actually, you know, I wonder if all of them are in volume 13. So Death Note is 12 volumes long, but I think volume 13 has a whole bunch of things. Okay, so because I actually want to make sure that I say this out loud, Ether, if you wrote D's nuts in the Death Note, unless there's somebody who you know whose real name is D's nuts, who you are imagining in your head at writing D's nuts in the notebook, nothing would happen. Literally nothing would happen. There's some very specific rules about how you go about killing somebody with a Death Note that the writer did think about in regards of like, well, what if there's two people with the same name? Because there's lots of people with the same name. And it's pretty much you have their image in your head and you write down their name. Gotta have both. Can't just have one. It's manifesting to the max, yes. I remember a discussion in Rat VC about whether the Death Note is transphobic, which from our extremely limited knowledge we concluded probably no. I don't believe the Death Note would be transphobic. The Death Note does not adhere to societal norms. Oh, 2 messages from Ether. Is it based specifically on legal name or generally what someone is called? I've seen a lot of discussions about this, and it's there is no clear answer. There is no clear answer about what it would do, because you do not generally there's no instance in the main story of somebody who has changed identities truly going through the process and then getting to the end and getting killed with a different name. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I was looking this up because I was trying to remember how this worked. So there's two characters named Mello and Nier later on in the story, and I know they have real names, and they use code names, and it gets really weird because people use the code names almost like their real name, but then, like, sometimes it's not a real name, and it's really confusing. L is an enigma on his own, and I won't spoil that bit for you, but I don't think the Death Note would be transphobic. I don't think it's necessarily based on legal name. I just think legal name is usually what is easiest to define as somebody's true name, because that's generally probably what they think of as their true name. I think if you had somebody who, for all intents and purposes, was trans and thought of a different name as their real name, I think the Death Note would agree that that name is their name. Truly, I do. Even though it's never explicitly stated, and I don't remember if they ever get the chance to really explore it in the story. I'm gonna fucking kill this gnome. Sorry. None of the characters within Death Note experience any sort of, like, trans identity, so there's no good way to— I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Lay down. Well, there's no way to know it doesn't dead name people, but I just don't. I can't imagine. Sorry. What do you mean? There's an achievement for this. In the teapot tea room job, place a gnome on each seat. So glad to know my one brain cell was doing the thing that they wanted me to do. I saw gnomes and said they could sit at a chair. And apparently that was the correct answer. Could also just be dependent on the particular death demon. The Shinigami? You know, that would be an interesting thing as well. The Shinigami can give a person Shinigami eyes, which does happen within the story. The character Misa takes the deal to get the Shinigami eyes so that she can see people's true names. But again, there's no trans or any other gender fuckery character to look at through the story, so there's not really a good way of knowing how it would handle it. But I don't think, because the Shinigami really don't give a shit. The Shinigami quite literally do not give a shit. They do not care what's going on. I don't think they really care too much about, like, gender at all. They just are interested in watching the humans scurry about their lives and largely don't care about it. I don't think the Shinigami would be... I don't think they'd be transphobic or sexist or anything. Ren, the Shinigami, really truly does love Misa. That's a whole point of part of the story. Is Light abuses the fact that Ren would do anything to save Misa. To kill somebody so that Misa can be saved and thus getting rid of Ren. Because it breaks the Shinigami rules as well for Ren to kill somebody to save a human. So she turns into a pile of dust and it's very sad, and then Misa forgets about her. Well, I say her. Ren is a Shinigami, and kind of ambiguously gendered. gay note. No, the gay note is the fact that Light and Elle had handcuffs on for an extended period of time. And had to sleep in, I think, either the same bed or they had two twin beds put together. What? Okay, so... I'm gonna spoil parts of this because I think it's really funny. The entire time Death Note is going on, Elle, the famous detective, is pretty sure that it is somebody related to the police force that is doing the killings. Narrows it down to Light and spends a lot of time going, I think it could be Light. And he gets so suspicious during an arc that he wants to be able to see what Light is doing at all times, and so they're handcuffed together. It's a long chained handcuff, but they're still handcuffed together for an extended period of time in the... Do I need to find a picture of this to share? I have to be very... Oh, was this an actual figurine? Oh my god, this is an actual figurine that got made. Open image in new tab. Save image as. I'll give you a few guesses as to who my favorite Death Note character was. Was it Matt? The character that works with Mello? Hold on, I need my nonsense window. See? Look at those two white men in handcuffs together. Okay, well, did I get it right on the first try? Okay, so Ibit, I have some unfortunate news for you. I need you to know this. My college roommate and I spent an extensive time talking about all the fandoms that we participated in when we were younger. And it turns out that my college roommate was good enough at making a characterization of Matt from Death Note that she kept getting requests from people on Quizilla to keep writing fanfiction about Matt. So I am very tuned in to the kind of people that like Matt. You probably did. They were apparently one of the few people writing a lot. But I spent an extensive time talking about that. Because it was just a thing that we thought about a lot. Anyways, I'm going back up on top of the teapot. Now I wonder if you can get my D. Greyman fave. Probably not, because I don't remember any of the D. Greyman characters. That's not true. I can vividly see them in my head. I cannot remember any of their names. And if you ask me to describe them, all of those images will leave my head. They are ephemeral. They will disappear as soon as I try to touch them. I want to reread D. Greyman, because I read most of D. Greyman once, and I never finished it, and I think it was still ongoing at the time that I was reading it. So I want to reread it, so when I reread it, and eventually- hold on, wait, hold on, wait, hold on, wait, hold on. We're about to see if my library is any good. Why are there lesbians? Sorry, that's not- Sorry, there was a light novel that is very obviously lesbians that's just on the front page of the library. Okay. Let's go, lesbians. Okay, the Greyman. Oh my god. Are they all ebooks? Oh my god, I think it's all... Oh my god, no, they only have so many of them! I'll have to find another place to get a lot of them. It looks like they only have a couple of the volumes. Which is a shame. I know that they only do it with the most recent ones for manga sometimes because not enough people would be willing to check out the entire series to keep things on hand all the time. But that's fine. Is there half-price books up here? Sorry, we're all just going on a journey with me. There is a half-price books. There's at least one. No, Google, you don't get my thing. Oh my god, there's like 3. Oh my god, there's like 5. Oh my god, I can pick my favorite. Wait, where is that? Nope, I'm not doing this on stream. Wait, I know where that is! Okay, I'm fine. I'm normal. I'm normal and fine. Okay, so I might go to half-price books to see if I can pick up all the volumes of D. Gray Man for funsies. There might even be 6 to 7. No, there's 5. If there's a 6th or a 7th, I don't acknowledge them. Hopping back to an old topic, but it's a funny coincidence, but the 2 gods Kara has an interesting relationship to is the goddess of the sun and the goddess of the moon and stars. It's always the sun and the moon. Hi, Blossom.
Cheese.
Cheese. Listen, those celestial bodies just hit different. My girlfriend turned to the moon. That's rough, buddy. I wonder if the people at Paramount are super pissed off at their inability to market something correctly so it actually makes money. I hope somebody, well, I hope multiple people have gotten fired over somebody's decision to not do a theatrical release of the Avatar movie. Ads start in 3 minutes. I hope they've learned their lesson. They absolutely have not. They/them, celestial bodies. All celestial bodies are girls. I do think it's really interesting hopping around the world and seeing how they define the sun or the moon as female or male. Because a lot of places will do sun and moon as opposites, but almost nobody agrees on which one is which. Western culture has a pretty set idea of which one is which, but other cultures do not, and it's really, really interesting. Sun is the bottom. Okay. Consider lesbians. Well, they could also be lesbians or gay or whatever. But I'm talking about, like, historically, like, in pantheons, how they describe things. Like, Japanese mythology, Amaterasu is the goddess of the sun and is female. And how do I know this? Because of Okami. Did I learn a lot more about Japanese religion afterwards? Yes, but I 100% learned it from Okami first. And the moon is an evil rabbit that annoys me. I still haven't played that game. I love Okami. I want to play Okami on stream at some point, but I don't know if I can mentally prepare to do that. Because that game can take a while if I try to 100% things. Did you not? I haven't played it on stream. I have it on Steam though. Reminds me of that one rat game where we went to heaven. You're gonna have to be more specific. Still need to figure out a medium amount of time in the layers of the world that's more than a day and less than a month, since that setting doesn't have moons. Ooh, that's interesting to think about. How are you going to define that in-between time? Oh! Spirit Mount. Spirit. I know this game. Hold on. Let me. Steam. Spirit. The Spirit and the Mouse. I like that game. That was a good game. Has that company made anything else? Oh my god, wait, hold on. I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. Do you want to know why I'm stupid? The company, the dev team that made The Spirit and the Mouse is also the company that made Squeak Cross, which is the Picross game where you play as a rat. Ah, wonderful. I didn't realize it was the same company. I wonder if they like rodents? It's a mystery. Ads are happening. Setting is so much fucky timekeeping shit, and the length of a day isn't the same everywhere. The length of a year isn't the same everywhere. It's honestly kind of a pain in the ass. See, I solved this problem and gave myself 2 moons. Because if I have 2 moons, I have an easy- Fuck, the Fae don't have the moons. Hold on. I need to rethink some things. You know what? Hold on. Wait, I have my obsidian vault open. Where's the Fae God repository? Not this one. Nope, that's the very large world. You. Is there a god of the moon? Is there a god of the sun? Yeah, there's sunlight in the summer court. Where's the winter court? I didn't make a god of the moon! Oh no, I fucked up. You know what? Fuck it. The Fae don't have the moon. Maybe all the Fae go to the mortal plane and get really confused by the moons, because they don't even have one. Excited about the Winghaven? Winghaven? Wait, is Winghaven actually happening? Has there been announcements? Can I have birds soon? Trailer release! Soon. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, so there's a fish game that I like that's called Chillquarium, which is on sale apparently for $3. And I like that game a lot, and the dev behind it said, I want to make one but with birds, and then said nothing for a very long time. And apparently, as Ibit has just informed me, dropped a trailer and said, there's also room for people to playtest, so birds. That's all I have to say about that. Harper, I'm not talking to you. I am busy. I am having a good time. Is not having moons the same as not having bitches? No, you can have bitches. I have to figure out how they define time. Then again, the Fae realm kind of exists oddly anyway, so it's fine. They already define time really oddly. And I can't decide if the Fae realm is out of sync time-wise with the rest of the world, so like, this just adds on to like further questions that I have to answer. I guess if you're Sokka, you can't have either. Okay. I cannot be defined. Time. I just want you to know that I thought about you today because everybody at the lunch table today started talking about dogs. And I was like, Time would love it here. Time would love to be here talking with everybody about their dogs. I also want you to know that somewhere in the building, someone has taken a small clip of somebody else's dog and used it as placeholder video for something. So there is just a video that is assigned to like something that I think is called like Channel D. And I saw a message where somebody just said, because the dog's name is Basil, somebody just wrote that D stands for Basil. Because on Channel C was a cat, and on Channel D was a dog, but it's D stands for Basil, because we know the dog. The other cat I don't think we knew, but it was still funny. I got to do dog things today and also hold Sauce Man. I love Sauce Man. I will never meet Sauce Man, but I would die for Sauce Man. And he probably knows it. The dragons moment? Yeah. D stands for Basil. It's just silent. I'm getting very distracted. I'm doing a very good job of playing this video game. And this is why I did not play a video game where I had to think today, because I know me. And I know where my brain is right now. And it is not in a thinky mood, it is just in a think about cults mood, which is a different set of moods. That's not true. I really want to, which I'm gonna do after stream, so you don't have to redeem it, but I'm in the editing process of just putting notes on the draft of the short story that I put together. And I love looking at past me and going, hey, what the fuck were you doing? Sauceman knows nothing. He's not capable of thinking. He lives every second in the moment. But he, like every cat, knows that many humans would die for them. And on the other hand, fell off of the bed this afternoon and felt very embarrassed about it and probably wanted me to stop laughing. She looked so stupid. I can't stop thinking about it. She's so stupid. I watched him get lost in a straight hallway in the apartment he's lived in for 2 years today. He is something. It's not even a long hallway either. He was lost in thought. He does his best. I want bird game. I need to finish 100%ing Chillquarium. I need to stop adding games to my playlist, and I need to just finish games. I need to finish games. One day I will finish a game. Woo, you're part of the problem. You come at me with, hey, you should play this game, and I agree, I should play that game. But then I have another game. I like how much it freaks out. Okay, that roof's done. This has happened before to the point where when showing the vet— wait, hold on. What? Showing the vet after the exam, they determine maybe he's just mild to moderately stupid. Nothing seems to actually be wrong. He is, in fact, just dumb. He's a precious baby. Trader, this is probably a month or a year from now thing, but would you be willing to beta read my animal cult story? Yes. Yes, of course. I would beta read anything for pretty much any of the rats. You don't have to add any other words. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. I like reading. I think I have a good brain for editing. I like helping people get their stories to a point where it sounds good. Okay. Okay, well, no, you all have to see this one because I had to see that one. That is now your problem. I'm almost sorry. You're not even sorry. Your time. Oh, I can go so high in the air. But also, like, that is... Well, I know... Okay. If anybody wants beta readers, and I'm not offering up all of the rats for it, but if somebody was looking for beta readers for anything, or even just a second opinion on something, if you posted it in the writing channel, I would see it, because that is one of the channels that I check immediately upon seeing it, seeing that it is lit up with a new message. But I check the writing channel a lot, so if you're looking for beta readers and you post it in there, I will see it, and I will answer yes, probably immediately, unless I am busy reading my 10 billion books. Of which I have so many books. I need to stop getting books from the library. I keep putting new books on hold and then getting scared when they all start moving. I've read 32 books this year so far. It's not even the end of April. Granted, one of those was The Little Prince, and that's a very short book, but at the same time... It's gonna be May, uh-huh. Is that what you're saying, Woo? Wait, can I just... Wait. No. Maybe? No. It looks like you should be able to climb this, but then it just kind of shifts you sideways. I wish I was a good beta reader beyond becoming more normal. It's a skill. The more you try beta reading, the more you will learn about how to be a good beta reader. I can climb the scissor lift? Well, then my scissor lift is cursed and hates me. There are demons. Sorry, my brain went very quiet because the power washing did something to me. It did something to my brain for a second. I'm fine. Everything's good. Hello, everybody. Cults, writing, reading, books, ideas, things, stuff. I wish I knew how to paint. Well, I know how to paint. I wish I could make my brain understand how to make the colors do the things. I have ideas, and I must scream. I'm also down to beta read stuff for people. I can make less promises regarding punctuality, but I like to think that the rats are really cool. How dare you say that? How dare you say the rats are cool? How dare you say that? They're absolutely radical. Get it? Radical. Anyways, I'll see myself out. Enough internet for the night. I don't think that's an internet thing. I think that's just me having dad jokes in my DNA. I'm gonna go stick my head in the onion with the garlic and the olive oil. What are you doing to the onion? Wait, did you guys see that I think that it's like official now that the onion's actually going to get to buy InfoWars? Like they're reaching a finalized deal on it? Not onion. Okay. Oven. Okay, because you did write onion. I saw it. It's so funny and cool. I'm just so happy that it's going to become a parody of what it once was, and that the logo that they've already mocked up for it is just gay. I'm so excited. I need to stop running up the stairs. So happy that people are getting served, mostly Jones. Well, I'm happy that, like, the Sandy Hook families were like, oh hell yeah, let's do something ridiculous here. Because really it was going to end up dying if they said no. The Onion would not have had the chance to buy it the way that they're trying to had it not been for the Sandy Hook families. Does crouching reduce recoil? No, I just like being small. Sometimes it gets to a better angle so that I can do the thing. I'm gonna kill Wu in the video game. You can't short joke me. That's just my life.
Fun fact. Dragons.
Fuck. Window. I'll have a coherent thought in a little bit. Hold on, I'm too busy sea shantying. Okay, now I can have coherent thoughts again. I can't have them while sea shanty plays. Something happens to my brain. It all falls apart. The brain cell is gone. There's nothing left. Stop climbing up the ladder. Right there. Close enough. Gender. I don't really care. Just in general. I care, but I don't care. I caren't. Except when it's really fun to have funky genders for fictional fantasy characters. I need more sci-fi alien races that are based on fish and weird fish genders. And birds. And snakes. There's so many weird gender fuckeries that we don't put into any of our sci-fi aliens. Is your gender USB A or C? None. None gender left beef. Dungeons of very weird concept, I'll agree. I spent like 2 hours trying to brainstorm how to write a short story exploring dragon gender and dragon setting and came up blank. I think at that point I would just start writing down thoughts about dragon gender things and then see what I come up with in terms of organic story that comes out of that. Because sometimes it's really hard to start with, I want to explore this thing and come up with a story. Sometimes you need to just start exploring the thing and see if the story comes out of it. And if it doesn't, then you've just got a lot of good notes about dragon gender. Nun gender left beef is good. I just think about the nun pizza left beef a lot. Do you think that Domino's gets a lot of requests for nun pizza left beef? Like, constantly? Do you think Domino's wants to kill that meme? Do you think Pizza Hut wants to kill that meme? Do you think the pizza places want that meme dead? Or is it at least easier to see than all of the joke pizza orders because some of them look too real? I guess I'm cleaning this window. What am I doing? I'm assuming Minty is vodka. That could be anything. Minty's been silent for a long enough period, though, that I would assume that Minty is asleep. And if not asleep yet, will be asleep very shortly. Temporarily awake. No, not even that sometimes for Minty. Questionably conscious would be more correct. Mostly blank. The one idea I did have was Dragon goes into Mortal City to do research on mortal gender and sexuality, which was funny, but I didn't want to write that. You know, without knowing the intricacies of what you're doing, I don't know if I could ever have a good suggestion for what would be the right thing to do for a story. I'd say the most obvious place to me would just to be I guess it stems from the same place as what you're doing, as like looking at a mortal version of gender, like looking at humans or something and looking at their gender. But I guess maybe you could even simplify it to they don't even need to have gone into the mortal city. It could just start as questions from looking at something that was created by mortals that has gender in it somewhere. So like either a piece of writing or a piece of art or something. And going from there. But again, without understanding your particular brand of dragon gender, I hesitate to say that anything I'm saying is good. I am simply a PowerWash. You're questionable. Yeah, no, that ether is questionable. That's just a correct sentence. There we go. You can indeed ask me questions. That's not what I meant by questionable, but you're also correct. I can ask you questions. Oh, wait. More of that dragon thing I'll never give to the rats, except maybe Zir someday if I get very brave. Do whatever you want to do, Blossom. Write whatever you want to write. Share it with whoever feels like the right group to share it with. If it's the rats, hooray. If it's not the rats, also hooray, because you've made a thing. There's writing that I have made that unless it somehow one day is ever included in something that I publish, and at that point I give up on keeping all of my identity online or offline, and I instead share that I publish something, at that point, if it's something that the rats read it. But there's pieces of writing that I am never going to willingly just hand over to the rats. No, that's reasonable. It's just a lot of dragons' relationships to gender in the setting is pretty, like, quasi-ambivalent. For most of them, it's either actively not caring or only caring because they're interested in having a specific relationship with a specific group of humans. I mean... Okay, hold on. Walk with me here, Zier. I don't know how the humans in the... Why can I not? Do I need to clear off a spot? Is the ladder picky about having a clean floor? Hold on. Hold on, I have a thought, but I need to see if the ladder is just being a bitch. Okay, well... It's not picky about being clean, it's just picky. Okay, it's not a germaphobe because it will sit right here, but it won't sit over there. I am placing blocks and shit because this is fucking Minecraft. Sorry. Okay, I can focus for 2 seconds. One of the interesting things that you could do... is if mortals leave things for the dragons, because I'm assuming that even if they're not revered as gods, there still might be some sort of, like, they kind of vaguely worship them in some places. There could be just dragons going through a box of things that the mortals have left as, like, offerings. Ladder's a germaphobe? Yeah, this ladder specifically hates germa. Not that I've ever watched Germa play PowerWash Simulator 2. I somehow think Germa has some weirder, more obscure games to play to really confuse chat with, but maybe one day he'll play it, and that one ladder will cause problems. Germa isn't real? No, he is real, and he got bullied by the Stanley Parable devs. Why is the ladder so weird? Okay. You know, as a dragon, I would absolutely absorb new gender if there was a mortal I really wanted to be with. He also thought a trophy was the coffee machine, or the other way around. Some days the coffee machine is a trophy. It's a celebration of my ability to be conscious. I understand, Germa. Whoop. Congratulations, you're awake. I was not awake today. I was very not awake this morning. I think I even left my Celsius at work, and I did not take it with me. Because I was still tired towards the end of the day. I'm still tired now. I'm gonna finish stream, I'm gonna go lay down, I'm gonna pass the fuck out. Wait, do I get to see people tomorrow? I think I do. I think people are scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm excited to have people because it's been so quiet. Relationships between dragons and mortals is really varied. In some areas, dragons are like natural disasters. In others, they're actively involved in governance or society. There's one who's actively pretending to be a mortal hero who drove off another dragon, their parent. There's some that are just kind of there, or who mostly avoid mortals, or who have warrens who do trade with mortals. I think there's plenty of room for people to worship dragons in some form or another. in a setting like that. Even the ones that are natural disasters, they might still try to appease them with gifts. Humans have done that for a very long time. They think that if they give something to whatever causes the storms, it will not make the storms happen. Does it work? Probably not. But also, when that sports team won because you were wearing that one particular shirt, that's real. And you must wear that shirt every time they play so that your team wins. I know people that do that for esports too. I love a human's ability to make up a silly little superstition that means nothing. Okay. It definitely happens too. Dragons are very deity-like. Nope, don't try to think of the word that is. At a bare minimum, they're very powerful, live forever, and are very hard to kill and meaningfully affect / are part of the environment they live in. Mountain dragon. Nope, brain, don't say Mountain D's nuts. Why am I like this to myself? It's not even a joke at somebody else. I said the word mountain and my brain went Mountain D's nuts. What is wrong with me? What's happened to me? What has happened to me? And why is my phone screen lit up? Because I have emails about my 401k. I love it when my 401k does things and stuff. You guys love it when your 401k does things and stuff? Is this the thing that they did before? Okay, no, it's fine. The company I work for decided to move around 401ks. But it wasn't just once. It's either that the original company we're using got acquired by somebody and then they moved it, or they moved it and then it got acquired by somebody else. So my 401k account has moved to a third website in the past 6 months. And they're letting us know that things will not move for a period of time on our 401k, and that it will display the amount in the account as 0 if we try to log in and look at it during the period that it's all being held hostage while they move everything. When's 402k coming out? Is a 402k something? Hold on. Where's Google? Is a 402k a thing? No, I don't want a 401k. What's a 402k? Oh, no, it's not a 402k. Boo. Wait, what the fuck? Hold on. The plan is specifically allowed by Section 401k of the US Tax Code. Other employee-provided defined contribution plans include the 403b plan for nonprofit institutions, 457b plans for government employees, and 401a plans. So it's just named after the tax code? That's stupid. It makes sense, it's stupid. I want more whimsy. I want more whimsy in my nonsensical things. What's what now? 401k plans. Okay. The IRS hates whimsy. Technically correct. No, leave it. That one was bad. No, that one gets to... That one made it through because I pressed the button that let it through because, fuck you. Also, hi Clover, I hope you're doing well. Totally know what you're talking about. Retirement accounts in the US. There's one provided by your company and it's called a 401k. And Ether made a joke about when does a 402k come out. And there's no such thing and I'm sad about it now. And I didn't know they were just named after the relevant tax code sections, and I think that's so boring. It lacks whimsy. RRSP? Interesting. I'm learning today. I guess, do I want alphabet soup or am I fine with weird number combinations? That's really the question. And I don't know. Hold on. I want a different song. Okay. Retirement saving plan. Can't remember what the other R stands for. One of them. Really retired saving plan. Yeah. Really retired space program? No, that sounds sad. That sounds like we're taking the old people and sending them to space. What if space was the old people's biggest dream? I don't think we should just shoot them into space. That just sounds like you're executing them by launching them into space. Risk of Rain space program? So many people would die. Can I please be launched into space? Do you want to go to space first or into the ocean first? Yep, Sepka. Ocean first so I can compare? Okay. I didn't get any writing done today, unfortunately. I meant to, but I ended up talking to my sibling and crying about how he asked me to buy them their first binder years ago and how that actually meant a lot to me. Oh, no, that's okay. I think writing can take a back seat to that moment. Why do my fingers betray me constantly? Skishu. Although I guess technically space could come first because I eventually splashed down afterwards. Yeah, but it's different going from space to ocean. So you gotta have the ocean first so that you can also compare space, ocean to space in that direction too. This does explain why you might be having gender on the brain today, though. Well, besides the very good selfie that made you feel gender euphoria. Lots of gender-related things today in Zier's world. Rats, do you have funny coming out stories? No. Mostly because I don't think I've really come out to many people. I think I just go... I think somebody's just said something and I say, oh, I'm blank, and then there's nothing else. I don't explain further. Don't elaborate further. Hello, welcome. Which is also why you should not ask me any advice on coming out, because I have no good advice. I only have whatever weird chaos I live with. Tree and I were laying in the living room dead silent. Exchange was, I'm trans. Oh cool, I thought so. I just don't bring it up unless it's relevant to the conversation. My brain just goes, is this really irrelevant right now? Nope, I don't really care then. A sibling came out as bi by responding to my dad giving a snarky, well, I hope there isn't any boys at this sleepover with, well, actually I'm into girls and boys. Wonderful. I feel like I've just done the accidental lore drop on a lot of people that I've known where, like, we'll be having a conversation really late at night and then they'll be like, they'll say something and I'll just be like, you know I'm queer, right? And they'll be like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Because it's usually somebody having, like, questioning thoughts about things or, like, just thinking about sexuality and gender at all. It's just that I never think to tell anybody because it doesn't play into how I... It doesn't play into how I express myself, except that sometimes there are jokes that I can make that I would not be able to make if I was... I almost just said regular. That's not it. Why was that what my brain was doing? Cishet, that's the word that I wanted. Food subway or travel subway? Either would be good. Some old friends used to call me the gayest straight man they knew. No, I can understand that. Carnival. Now you're just... Well, now we just call you penis man sometimes, so... I don't know. Clean. I'm not going to be able to finish this by the end of stream, and that's okay. I'm not here to complete things. You know what we should do? We should try to get to 69%. Do you think I can get to 69% before the end of stream? Is there another door over here that I didn't clean? Yes. Excuse me, I'm doing parkour. The other fun thing about the binder stories, the conversation started with them asking me to get them an early birthday present. I was very skeptical about doing. And then the second they asked for a binder for his birthday, I was like, what's the next excuse? What's the next excuse I can take to go home and bring one to them? Oh yeah. Usually don't tell people I meet because I don't think about it and I don't think it's ever relevant to say. But then I keep having moments of thinking I'm making a new friend, and not to sound vain, but I'm tired of finding out I'm in fact not actually making a new friend. Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. Okay. I don't know why that one spot is okay. This tool has preferences? It does, and I don't understand them. I'm trying really hard to understand, but they're inscrutable and unreadable. One of my bio siblings who I was super scared to come out to because I was worried that they might out me or would also hate me, very stressful, right? Well, what happened? What next? What next time? Did they look at you and just say, I know? I think time just sent it early. Also still giggling about Aether going, Zir, you really strike me as from place you are from earlier today. Listen, sometimes you just have an attitude. There's some people that work at my office that are from California, and there's just an attitude about them, and you go, you are just from California. They're just like Clover. I just need 5% more. I can do this. If I get 1% per minute, I can do this. I'm never gonna be able to do this, but we can pretend I can do this. Something is... Oh. Bam, 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 bam. I tell them, and their response was, okay, I don't care, and they meant it as, like, that doesn't matter to them and doesn't change anything, but they're so deadpan and monotone. All the time I was like, did I fuck up? No, that's why I always have to add the caveat of when I'm saying I don't care, like, because there are times where it literally, to me, does not matter, like, you could be X, Y, or Z, it doesn't matter, I don't care, but I care. But I don't care, it doesn't change anything. It's not that it's unimportant, and it's not that I don't care, it's that it doesn't matter. No, that doesn't work either. It does matter, it's very important to me, but it doesn't matter in terms of anything else. I'm so bad at explaining this, but usually what I end up saying is just, I don't care, but it, you know, I think I just go through this spiel. I care so much about some people's expressions, and I'm so happy for them, but also, like, whatever they want, I don't care. It has no impact on my life except that they are happy, and that's really what matters. Nope, stop hitting tab. Ah! I thought that would damage the plants, but whatever you want, video game. Whatever you want. Gender solid, gender fluid, gender gaseous. Gender D's nuts. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. That one came straight from the soul. Oh, 68. Okay, I'm content now. That's so stupid either. Okay, we've reached 69%. I think that's a perfect place to pause and come back to this a different day so that I can laugh at it being save. Okay. Oh. Uh-oh, did we accidentally get Zir with the California? Whoops, sorry Zir. Okay, wait, no, I don't want to hit that. Let me leave. 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 Nope. I don't know how to leave. Exit. Escape. Go away. How do I leave? Wait. Weird menu. It's fine. I'm just very excited for a second. I'm making a visit to Kelly sometime in the next while. Nope. No Clover over there, except Clover is definitely in California and nowhere else in the world. Oh, there's a picture. There's a picture that I just opened Discord to. And I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I'm focused. I'm ready. I'm ready. I can go home. And by go home, I mean go to bed? What am I saying? This is why I need to go to bed, is because I'm in the weirdest rambling mood and I need to just go put myself down in a bed and go to sleep. Just like very Northern California. Very north, yes. Where are you streaming from? Somewhere. Home is where the bed is. No, home is where the Anne is. And I stand by that one. Home is wherever that cat is. Because if she's not here, I think I would be very sad. Actually, I know I'd be very sad, because the one time I had to take her to the emergency vet and she had to stay overnight, I was distraught sleeping alone in my apartment. Also, every noise made me scared. Anyways. Yeah, don't dox yourself. Don't dox yourself. Or whatever zox yourself it means. Don't do that. Anyways, I'm gonna go cuddle my cat. I hope that the rest of you have a fantastic time zone. Thank you for being here for the most bizarre brain cell that I've had today. Yeah. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your week until Thursday when I am back here again doing something else. Who knows what. Take care of yourselves, drink water, eat food, take your meds, take a shower, touch some grass, do all the things that matter, do all the things that that will contribute to your well-being in the long term. Or something. I'll see you later. Goodbye!
Comfort streamer, Trato 10 love. None mares left beef. Dragons.